Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. The time is approximately 8:18 p.m. and the date is Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019. The sun is in Virgo and the moon is indeed in Scorpio. I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Some of you are new to my YouTube channel, so my name is Robert Alvarez, that is my full name. I am also known as the Tarot Man. I am also known as Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch. And on my YouTube channel, I also refer to myself as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. And yes, there is plenty of lighting in my home. And yes, there is a fan on. There is a fan blowing a little bit off from me, and there's a fan that's blowing a little bit away from me. Of course, I don't have Beyonce's hair, so, I don't have that really dramatic hair effect, but that's okay. So, this is the official What Happened August 2019 video. And I really have been, in a lot of ways, a lot of things happened last month, and in a lot of ways, a lot of things didn't happen last month. Just a quick recap, as I mentioned a few months ago, I was away from my home for a little while. I was taking care of some personal matters and some professional matters. I had taken a sabbatical from giving in-person readings for a few months. It didn't affect me that much. I didn't feel like I lost money. In fact, just the opposite. I gave more readings per month during that time period via Catland than at any other time in a while. And as much as I love receiving money, it makes me happy when Catland receives money too. And for every reading that I give, whether it's an in-person reading at Catland or whether it's a phone reading via Catland or a Skype reading via Catland, they receive a percentage. And that makes me happy because, hey, they're good at what they do. Same thing with Notions and Potions in Beacon, New York. They receive a percentage for the readings that I conduct. So that makes me very happy. And they deserve it. The staff and the owners of both Catland Books in the Bushwick district of Brooklyn in New York City, and the living goddess Cheryl, who owns Notions and Potions on Main Street in Beacon, New York, and her staff, her wonderful staff. They absolutely deserve so much praise, so much gratitude, so many blessings, especially financial blessings. So it makes me happy when I give readings through them. Plus, I do love offering divine discounts when I can. And that makes me happy too. Anyway, so again, a lot of things did happen and a lot of things didn't happen in August of 2019. And I'm okay with that. Working with the Herb Crafters Tarot, which was co-created by Letitia Guthrie and Joanna Powell Colbert, I learned the phrase slow paseo. Now in Spanish, paseo is walk, as in a walk, like a stroll. And of course slow means, slow. And, one of the things that I've been noticing, especially since May of this year, May of 2019, slow paseos have become commonplace in my world. And even though I don't live in the New York City area, I'm roughly 10 to 15 minutes away from Midtown Manhattan in New York City. So I am accustomed to being around a frenetic pace. I'm definitely accustomed to being around people that live in a frenetic pace, or live at a frenetic pace. But personally, I don't care for it. And I think that at the age of 49, and being less than 6 months away from my 50th birthday, I think that I've earned the right to do things nice and slow. Nice and slow. Because some things are better nice and slow. But of course, that is another video for another channel, for another day. But let me take a quick sip of my Café Bustelo. Oh, oh, this is so good. Now, it's so funny because, normally when I, sorry, I thought there was some crud on the edge, but it's not crud, it's, I guess I don't know what this is called, but it's not dirty crud. It's not like crud from leftover food or beverage remnants. I guess it's the edge of the mug, whatever. Anyway, so, I love alternating when it comes to drinking coffee, or tea for that matter, even black tea. I like to add honey, so I added some raw unfiltered honey to this cup, but I did run out of light cream, so it only has Dunkin' Donuts brand vanilla extra extra. It's not sweet enough for me, but I'm enjoying it. Besides, I think it's okay for me to have it a little bit of this time. Oh, but it's still so good because it is café postero. So, August really was an opportunity for me to get plenty of rest, which definitely I needed, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And again, 2 sacred solitude sojourns in the same calendar month, that's a big deal for me. And I knew that I needed that extra rest, I needed that extra time off, I needed that extra time to forget about the rest of the world, forget about the world of men. I don't usually use sexist language, but when I engage in my sacred solitude sojourns, that's 3 days that I am in my home. My cell phone is turned off. I do not access the internet. I do not leave my apartment for any reason. Not to get the mail, not to run an errand. I usually make sure that I have plenty of foods and beverages and supplies prior to that sacred solitude sojourn. And I have an awesome audiovisual person who is not only my amazing computer tech person, but he is also somebody who makes my life easier and happier and more peaceful and definitely more prosperous. So I love the fact that if I did need something, or if I do need something, I can ask him to do it for me, and he'll either do it that moment, or he'll do it that day, or he'll do it during my sacred solitude sojourn. So I am bountifully beyond blessed to have such an amazing person in my life. Truly, I am bountifully beyond blessed, or beyond bountifully blessed. I feel like I'm getting off topic, but I'm really not. So yeah, so I really needed that extra time off, and as I may have mentioned recently, and as I've mentioned in previous videos over the years, generally speaking, September through December is the busiest time of the year for me, especially with regards to my professional psychic practice. This is the time of the year where people have made the mistake of not booking a reading with me, or scheduling another psychic service with me, and then it's like, I thought you were available on this date. I was when I first contacted you and told you that I was available 3 weeks ago. I'm not going to mention names, but I have a wonderful client who over the years has become a very dear friend and an ongoing student. She especially avails herself of my private prosperity classes. And I remember one year, this was maybe, I'm going to say it was no more than 3 years ago, she wanted to schedule a private prosperity class with me. And I distinctly remember I had given her the dates that I had available at that time. Now mind you, it was still like spring. I don't think it was reaching summer yet, but it was still spring. So in my part of the world, it was between March and May. But specifically between March and May, it wasn't quite June yet. And I remember that she finally got back to me maybe 3 to 4 weeks later, and she wanted to schedule her private prosperity class for a date that I did have available 3 to 4 weeks earlier, but I was no longer available that same date. And she was like, I thought you had it available. I said, yes, I did have it available when I first gave you those dates 3 to 4 weeks ago. And she's like, well, what do you have available now? I said, let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. So I checked my calendar right then and there, wrote down the dates, and then I sent it to her via text message. And she was like, well, I'm looking at this date. I said, okay, do you want to schedule it for that date? She's like, I don't know. I said, okay. She got back to me 2 days later. The day after I sent her those dates, somebody scheduled an appointment with me for one of the dates that she wanted. The date that she wanted, but she wasn't sure about. And she was like, I thought you were available. I'm like, have you met me? I book up fast. If you want the date, get the date. Book the date. Schedule the date. Don't tell me, oh, well, I'll get back to you. No. You need to know right now. This is not even my busiest time. Like, now, mind you, all of this was running through my mind. I did not actually send her a long-ass text message. But I did let her know, like, hey, if you want the date, schedule the date. So that was the last time she did that, by the way. After that, it was like, okay, I'm not going to get back to you until I know for sure. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. And believe me, ever since then, she knows in the second, like, yes, this is the date, we're scheduling it, what time can you be here, all this other good stuff. But I definitely needed this extra time off last month. All the extra sleep, all the naps, all the inactivity. Don't get me wrong, I did walk a lot, I did climb stairs, did a lot of stretching, but if I could take a nap, I milked it for all it was worth, ladies and gentlemen. I really did. And, of course, I definitely made sure to eat plenty of food, drink plenty of water, have my tea, have my coffee, have my beverages, my seltzer, all that other good stuff. But I'm looking forward to an especially busy September 2019 through February 2020. And I say that because now that I have resumed using a lot of the metaphysical methods and sacred tools and spiritual practices that I often teach in my group and private prosperity classes, let's just say that I'm booking up even faster than I thought I would. And with that, YouTube, I thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. Thank you so much for all the likes. Thank you so much for all the shares. Thank you to those of you who have already scheduled appointments with me, who have already booked your sessions with me, who have already registered for my upcoming events. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. And may the universe continue to bless you and yours with wealth, health, and happiness. And good night.